keep the discussion going. Are U.S. corporate tax rates too high? Scott Hodge is president of the Tax Foundation, and we've got Chief Washington Correspondent John Harwood in Charleston, South Carolina, where he was for the Democratic presidential debate last night. Thanks for both of you being with us. And Scott, let's get straight to this. You know, when I hear that U.S. tax rates technically are 40% for companies, and overseas our competitors and other industrialized nations are 29%, I think, wow, you know what, they've got a point, we should be cutting tax rates. But then when I look at what companies actually pay, I realize it runs the gamut. It's all over the place. So maybe the problem is all this, you know, money we're spending on companies finding tax shelters and evading taxes rather than the rate itself.
Well, Aaron, as you know, most Americans don't pay the statutory tax rate anyway. It's the marginal tax rate that we're impacted by. You may be in the 35% marginal tax bracket, but your effective rate may be much less because of your various deductions and so forth. Companies are exactly the same. But that rate has a big difference, a big impact on the way you do business, where you invest your capital and your next dollar of investment. And that's what matters to U.S. competitiveness, not only the ability of U.S. companies to compete abroad, but the ability of the U.S. economy to attract new investment that is now going to low-tax countries such as Ireland, Slovakia, Poland, et cetera.
And we've been talking about Ireland and the example there where they have a 12.5% tax rate. It's a flat tax for all companies, and they actually get more revenue from companies as a percentage of their economy than we do in the U.S., where our rate is 40%. So basically, Scott, is that simple? Is that a long way of saying we could slash the tax rates in this country on companies, make it a flat tax, and end up getting a lot more money?
That's exactly the case. We have the Neiman Marcus approach to tax policy, everyday high prices every day. We should be having the Walmart approach to tax policy, everyday low taxes every day. Walmart is 100 times the size of Neiman Marcus because it has everyday low prices. We should be just as attractive to business by slashing our corporate tax rate by at least 10 percentage points in order to remain competitive with our European counterparts.
John Harwood, I know that Hank Paulson's going to be hosting a conference on Thursday talking about this very issue. Do you think we're going to get any sort of a movement in Washington to make changes here, or is this just going to be a lot of talking?
It's going to be a lot of talking. And look, I think we've got to keep in mind the political context in which this conversation is taking place. The Republican Party's been badly divided on issues like Iraq, immigration, and Republicans are looking to the tax and spending issues to try to unite their party. So that's one of the things you have to keep in mind when you listen to what Hank Paulson is saying. The other problem for that argument is Republicans and the president have been arguing that this economy is strong under Bush. In fact, they've wondered why the president's not getting more credit for it. So it's pretty hard on one hand to say the economy's strong, we should get more credit, and then to say that the high corporate tax rates are hobbling the economy.
That's a good point. I mean, John, do you think that this is something, though, that pretty much is just dead on arrival in terms of trying to make any cuts politically, just at the least because we're going to have a change in the White House next year?
Aaron, there is no chance under the sun that the Democratic Congress is going to cut corporate tax rates. If you listen to that debate last night here in Charleston, you heard Democrats bashing insurance companies, oil companies, drug companies. They want to take away, for example, tax breaks for oil companies. You mentioned Exxon paying 24%, well below that 40% rate you're talking about. So Democrats are talking about going in the opposite direction. The question is,